Hello and welcome to Time to Talk. In this episode, we sit down with our friend Anthony Brown, and Anthony shares with us his journey that brought him to Ohio, what he's been up to, and his outlook on life in general. Please look for links to Anthony and his work in the description and comments below, or simply look up his website, anthonyhowardbrown.com. If you find fun in this episode, please consider liking and subscribing, and consider sharing it with someone who might need a little fun in their life too. Thanks for showing up. Let's see what happens next.
Life is complex.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's extremely complicated, and for those who are not completely open-minded, then it fall victim to missing the little grains of wisdom that lies out there in the universe. You know, and thank God I'm educated enough to say certain things and be able to back it up, or to be able to explain it in a different fashion in which people won't say that I'm borderline insane.
I relate to that.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
So, all right, now what do you want to talk about?
First and foremost, I am very interested in the altruistic nature of the project you're on.
Okay.
I'm interested, and this is somewhat selfish, but I'm interested in your direction, your motivation, the actions that you're taking, because I'm on a very similar path.
Okay.
And all that encompasses, and not just, well, I have a lawyer and an accountant or whatever that looks like. I bought property.
Right.
Also, your motivations and your calling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's really fascinating is that do you need a little synopsis of my background?
I have it from the speech, the talk that you gave, but in terms of
Have you read the book?
No, I don't
Never?
know anything about
Oh,
that.
well, Jesus. You don't know anything about the book? Here,
I've just met you,
Oh,
and
Lord.
I realized
here's
that,
the Reader's
look
Digest
at this.
version.
Okay.
But the other one is a little bit more in depth. But that's just a little Reader's Digest. And
I
what's
love
really
it.
fascinating is if you type that name in on YouTube, you'll see a cartoon of me.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't it crazy?
Yes.
Born into abuse, alcohol and drug use led to homelessness. Living on a park bench, lost and confused. Mama got shot, never knew my dad. Addiction strangled me. Prison was the only refuge I had. Collapsed to my knees, screaming, God, are you real? From that moment, I transformed my life. Sober, off to college. Don't be afraid to dream. I'm proof anything can be accomplished.
But the basic background is I come from a really chaotic lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was born in chaos. I was born chaotic. You know, from what I understand, even the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. I was born in a block of sand because my mom.
Sorry, go ahead.
I guess my mom had pica.
Ah,
And-
had what?
Pica.
Okay.
That's sort of like a developmental illness that makes you just want to crave and eat.
Ah.
And so she ingested inedible things like sand.
Oh.
And I didn't learn the term until later on. I grew up and started understanding, mental illness and things of that nature. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I was born in like a little sand block.
Huh.
And I was born blue. So technically I wasn't even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Okay. But I am for a
Yes.
reason.
Yes.
Okay. And so, throughout time, I came through very, how can I say it? A very challenging childhood. Okay. Everything wasn't peaches and cream. My mom never read Dr. Spock's book.
Yeah.
None of that stuff. But it is what it is. I'm a child of the 60s, and, I was born before my mom had rights.
Yeah.
In a sense. And so that's my background. And so whatever comes from that created the lifestyle that I chose.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's my background in the synopsis. Here's something that's really fascinating because Everybody and everything's connected somehow.
Yes.
Okay, there's no mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Indeed.
I envision like this ginormous universe that's ever changing and moving. Okay, and some things collide and take different forms, and there's a reason behind it all. Okay, now we might not understand it. We might understand our part. We might not understand the bigger picture. However, if you pay attention long enough, then you will be able to see patterns. Now, I know I can go way off on a whole different thing, which is totally cool. You know, I got degrees, so I won't be considered insane, and I know how to eat and go home, so I won't be in an institution.
There you go.
But the bottom line is, life is far more complex than what we give it credit for. And how did I come from that crazy background to having this type of knowledge? Because I asked for it.
Yes.
You know, now what do you mean by asking for it? I literally at one point in time, and I documented it in my book. I asked if God was real. I mean, I just said, I go, you know what? I know this bench is solid, and I know cars run on gas. I know that for a fact. There's no way that you can tell me anything different. And I said, well, if you are real, then prove it.
Yeah.
Then my mind just expanded and, just went completely bananas. And so it's pretty cool. So when I run into individuals like you who are in search of or need validation of what they have seen and witnessed and experienced, then I can sit in the saddle and go, yes, I understand exactly where we are.
Deal. I
Okay.
love that. The the point I was circling before, which I believe fits in with what we're talking about, is that every bit of your past, every bit of my past, everybody's past are the learning devices. The depths at which we sank to are the heights of which we rise. I've heard that before. So what a unique experience for those of us who are suffering, for those who are currently suffering in that pit of despair, not knowing that they're even in the pit and not knowing how to get out. The hope that there is a way out, and that, as you said, I asked, is this real? God, are you real? Or am I just out here running around a mass of atoms and swirling, elements just here to swirl, going nowhere, right? And come to find out, we ask and then we'll receive. We find out that there is a purpose to this. I do have a gift, and how am I going to use that gift?
Right.
How may I serve today?
Right.
That those who are on this path, there's various stages. The story of the pit was gifted to me. There's someone's in a pit, and a doctor walks by, throws some pills down the pit, and the guy gets numbed out, but he's still in the pit. And then the priest walks by and prays for the guy, and okay, I feel a little bit better, but I'm still in the pit. And then the therapist walks by, and okay, I feel better about my childhood, but I'm still in the pit. And the rich man walks by and throws money down there. Well, okay, I'm not broke, but I'm still in the pit. And then another diseased individual, another alcoholic or another addict walks by and jumps down in the pit, and the dude's like, what are you doing? I needed help out of here. What are you doing down in this pit with me? And that alcoholic says, no, don't worry about it. I'm down here because I've been down here and I know the way out. And that's my experience, is that I found somebody almost immediately that said, I've been down here, and I could see it in his eyes. I recognized something that I had no idea what I was looking at. And I grabbed onto his shirt tails. I'm just following you wherever you go. He showed me out of the pit, and then the experience was standing at the top of the pit, right? That was just not enough. I knew there had to be more. So this guy says to me, yeah, how's it look up here? We're outside the pit. Well, look over here. You see this mountain that goes up into the clouds? There's more if you choose to climb it. And that's been this excursion. That's what brings me here today. That's what's put me on this path, is that every 5,000 feet I climb, people are like, hey, you don't need all that crap you're carrying with you. Drop it off. They'll know what to do with it here. Let's climb another 5,000 feet and see what the view looks like. And then let's climb another 5,000. And it's this never-ending journey because I can't see the top. Well, that's not the point. Let's just keep climbing and keep looking and seeing and sharing what we see to hopefully reach back and help that next person who's, whether they're in the pit or at the top of the pit at the base of the mountain or 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 feet below or above, reaching out for them.
Right.
That's my esoteric way of saying that this journey is the destination is the journey.
It's like, how's it go? Uncover, discover, and discard.
That's the joy, the new joy of life.
Right.
I still suffer. One of my character defects, my self-righteousness, is that I've always got to be teaching and I always have to be right. and I'm working on letting that piece of this
Well,
go.
why do you call it suffering when it's just growing pains? What I think is fascinating is that nothing happens by mistake.
Indeed.
Okay? It doesn't. As for me and my journey, I just suit up and show up. You know, I've learned that I'm supposed to be exactly where I'm supposed to be when I am there,
Yeah.
which always puts me in my nows.
Yeah.
You know, and I love understanding why I'm in my nows, and so I'm forever trying to guess why. And I wrote that in the first chapter of my book. It's like, why?
Yeah.
You know, and it's pretty cool because nothing happens by mistake. You know, I studied biology. I know as a human being, we don't get to last forever. And then what? I haven't met anybody, and I work in healthcare. I haven't met anybody that's gave up this body and went somewhere else and came back with proof.
Just a little while. Please be careful with the needle.
Because that's what it takes because of our senses rely on that, you know, proof of what happened. And so in the meantime, I just enjoy exploring whatever I get to encounter. And so I've learned a long time ago, there's no such thing as good and bad or indifferent. It just is. You know, it's up to me to slap the labels on it.
Free will.
You know, some people will say that piece of candy on the ground is garbage, but to a person that's starving, that's a meal. Okay, you just got to keep it in its perspective. And that allows me, because there's 3 rules that I go by. You know, I can't intentionally harm anybody. I can't hate, and I have to finish everything I start.
I love those rules.
Well, this is what happened when I asked that question years ago.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, and so that's what I live on. And the experiences that I get, and I get some experience, dude. I just came from California. I gave up, and I was laughing. I gave up a killer job, dude. Killer. I worked 6 months out of a year. You know, I'm living in a townhouse in Orange County, loving it, and then I'm told go to Mansfield, and I'm like, are you serious? You know, and again, I've been around long enough, and I'm rational enough to understand the messages that I hear aren't delusional.
Sounds like an opportunity.
But I know better than to say why. I just do it.
Yeah.
You know, give up all your money and go help the homeless people. It's like, okay. You know, and I come to understand that I can't take none of this with me. So it doesn't matter. You know.
That has been a topic of discussion I've had multiple times recently, is you can't take it with us. And you see pictures of people, you know, burying their Rolls Royce with them. And
I had an idea.
yeah.
I was going to get, and I was going to write in my will, I was going to get some attorneys to draw it up, that I wanted to be embalmed in behind the wheel of a U-Haul truck with all of my stuff in the back, and I wanted to be buried underneath my properties.
Oh, yeah.
For some archaeologists can discover me. And my friends are like, I know. But that's what I'm thinking about. But anyway.
Music speaks to me. I get messages through various points. I call it 1,000 points of light. I get messages from thousands of different sources, and those little tidbits come together to create one, right? And I think it's similar for a lot of people. And this particular artist who sings about the answer and what it is, and
I like to dance and it looks like this. I like to dance and it looks like this.
he talks about what will we take with us when we go. And the message that comes is it's got nothing to do with the material goods that I measured my life by.
Right.
And it was always a measurement of material goods and how I was compared to them and how I felt about this. And what it comes back to me is what I take with me is what I give away. And again, it's not about material goods. I've made that mistake forever, or most of my life. It's not about giving material goods, it's giving of self. And what am I giving? That led me to what love is. And I've had love backwards my entire life. I synonymous to me was love and lust.
Oh, okay.
I had a mistake.
There's a huge difference there.
A complete difference. It couldn't be more different than opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
And then it was gifted to me during one of these interviews. Somebody said, you know, and I had agreed with them. We were talking about love, and he says, I've had love wrong my entire life.
My closing thought is my incorrect perception of what love has been my entire life, which for me is what I can get. It's what I should get, what I want to get. Love is what you have to give with no expectations in return.
The question is why? Why are we here? To say our hellos and goodbyes and disappear. This beautiful life, what is it for? To learn how to master peace or master war. There's only one answer that matters, even if your heart has been shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you are after, love is still the answer. Love is still the answer. Love, 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 love. Love, love, we all make mistakes. No, we're not perfect yet. Maybe God made us all from an accident. And the question that sits on everyone's lips is why should we pick ourselves up and start over again? There's only one answer that matters, even if your heart has been shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you are after, love is still the answer. Love is still the answer. Love, 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 love. Love, love, the question I'll ask at the end of my days is, what did I give and what will I take? There's only one answer that matters, even if your heart and your dreams have been shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you are after, love is still the answer. the answer.
Thank you for being here. What a great time. What a great discussion. Thank you, Anthony. And we look forward to the rest of our conversation with Anthony to be coming out soon. Thanks again. If you have any ideas for episodes, please put it down in the comments. Consider liking and sharing and subscribing. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a wonderful day. What's that?